So, should be worried about Aaron Judge. I could see the logic in that. But angry at Juan Soto for drawing a walk? Get real. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. So the Yankees had off yesterday to recoup and recover. And now they're in Cleveland for 3 against the Guardians. And then they go to Toronto for 3 against the Jays. And then they've got Milwaukee and Baltimore after that to conclude. It's going to be a very tough month for them. But the fact is they're 10-3 right now in first place. So they're off to a heck of a start. Okay. Now, the other day, and by the way, if you're a fan and you want to have discussions like this or be kept in the loop on all things Yankees, and no matter what, whether it's good or bad or big or small, and you're not sub to this channel, hit that sub button, please, and hit the notification as well. That way, when news comes out, you'll get it front line. And when I go live, you'll know exactly when I go live, and you can join in on the party. So I thank you so much for that. So with that said, the other day, and I want to get your take on this one. You know, they switched Anthony Volpe and Gleyber Torres from leadoff to the middle of the lineup, okay? And it looks like it's an attempt to jumpstart Gleyber Torres, who's gotten off to a spotty offensive start, but not necessarily bad. He's been seeing a lot of pitches, drawing some walks too. So he's still doing his job, but the offensive firepower is not there yet. The offensive firepower is there with Anthony Volpe, clearly. And again, he's making significant steps in his development in his second year. But, you know, this is something, and I'll make this clear, this is something that the fans have asked for a long time now. Please make Anthony Volpe the leadoff hitter. He should be the leadoff hitter, blah, blah, blah. And then Aaron Boone does it. It didn't work the first day. And is it a failure of an experiment? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. One day is not enough of a sample size. Now, I said this too, like the other day, I didn't see a point of justifying a switch just yet between leadoff and the middle of the lineup of these two guys, unless the stats, you know, made it necessary. And at this point, Volpe was still rocking and rolling in the middle of the lineup, so I didn't see the need to move him to the leadoff spot just yet. But I understand they had won the series already with the Marlins. Now it'd be a good time to try it and see what maybe if it would trigger something. And it didn't really work, but that's okay. Okay, doesn't mean it's a failed thing. That's something you'd have to try with a little bit of a bigger sample size. So would I be surprised if Volpe led off the entire series in Cleveland and Torres bat in the middle of the lineup against Cleveland? No, they're going to need a bigger sample size to see whether a switch is going to work or not. And if it doesn't, you can go back to the way it was. So these are the types of things that the Yankees lineup now and their roster has the ability to experiment with a little bit because it's so much deeper and so much more balanced, this lineup. That's a good thing, right? And this is the first time that Aaron Boone, a manager that people love to trash and blame for a lot of things, this is the first time that he's had a roster this deep to play with, okay, to coach, to manage, or to at least put forth a consistent lineup. He's never had the ability to do that before. He does now. And he's doing it. And they're 10-3, first place. It's working. So, but people will still find ways. It is what it is. So, but give me your thoughts on that. I mean, how do you feel about Volpe being leadoff? Do you think he should be leadoff now or phased into leadoff over time? I think it should be performance justified, in my opinion, and I don't really want to tinker with what's working right now. It's been working. Gleyber Torres at leadoff. Yeah, his offensive firepower wasn't there. We didn't need it to be there. We had all the other guys doing their thing. But I understand, too, he's in a contract year and so on and so forth, and I get it. So, and Anthony Volpe looks like, he's got a good head on his shoulders. I think he'd be fine at leadoff if we kept him there. Totally fine. So, but with that said, let's pivot to Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, okay? The dynamic duo. Okay? This one I find interesting. Okay? And, Aaron Judge, obviously, is something to keep in mind. I said this yesterday. I called out like a ridiculous conspiracy theory that was peddled by some people yesterday on social media and Twitter or X, that Aaron Judge was actually injured and the Yankees are covering it up. Okay? With zero evidence But this is what folks do. Okay, to get a ride. I don't know why they do it, but it is what it is. So, if you want to look at a cover up, I mean, I would be looking no further than the Shohei Ohtani situation, which is getting uglier by the day. But again, I'm just waiting for more information to come out before, giving more information, before putting out a video on that and so on and so forth. So, but we know that Aaron Judge, came off a toe injury with the Dodger Stadium injury last year, and we know that affected his play in the second half, and he, fully recovered and so on. But what's been affecting him now? His swing timing, right? His timing's a little bit off because he did miss 10 days with an oblique strain towards the end of spring training. So he is operating from behind. I'm confident in his ability to, get to where everybody else is and where he needs to be over time as well. I'm not really worried about that. He's a star player. He's the Yankees franchise player. Now, but I understand why people could be a little bit concerned because he's not really hitting, like a trademark Aaron Judge. But again, he generally is known for a relatively slow start to the season, which is no different now. Okay. And if you look where he's off, it's not his running and his ability to field. He's fine there. So it looks like his foot and his toe are okay. Everything else in the midsection, his timing is where it's off. And that's no surprise, right? And so it's going to take a little bit of time. And that's okay. We have enough depth in the lineup to withstand that, to give him time to adapt. Just like we have enough depth in the starting rotation to let Garrett Cole come back and be recovered and be healthy when he does. And I'm thankful for, what the Yankees have done. So in the starting rotation and the bullpen. They get the reinforcements that they not only have coming, but the trades that they have coming, and like a lot of the other moves that are still to come too. So I'm more confident now in this team than I was before. But going back to Aaron Judge, I understand why some people will be worried because he's not really hitting. But it's one thing I think it's important to point out for perspective is he's not having an issue running and fielding. It's timing. And timing can come back. Okay, and we saw last week, I think it was against the Diamondbacks or was it against the Blue Jays, where it clicked for him one day and he had that opposite field double, opposite field home run. And that's going to be, a much more enjoyable stretch for Aaron Judge, especially when him and Juan Soto are firing on all cylinders. And again, Gleyber Torres isn't firing on all cylinders. Alex Verdugo's heating up. So, the Yankees are firing on most cylinders or some cylinders, not all cylinders. And when they are, it's going to be a very dangerous team. But what I found most comical is these guys from the Fan, WFAN. I don't find them to be baseball experts by any stretch of the imagination. Okay? Some people do, whatever. But I forgot. I don't remember his name. I don't really care because I don't listen to them because it is baloney. So, but, the last game against the Marlins, Juan Soto drew a walk in the ninth inning to put Aaron Judge in a position to drive him in, loaded the bases. And this guy went off and said, criticizing Juan Soto for drawing a walk. And, he wasn't, the fact is he wasn't getting any hittable pitches. So what did you expect him to do? Manufacture a home run out of nowhere? I remember there's only one person I remember in baseball history that had the gift of hitting a home run from anywhere, and that's Vlad Guerrero Sr., not Junior, Sr. The ball could be on the floor. He'd golf it into a home run. It could be 8 feet out of the plate. He'd figure out a way to hit an opposite field home run. That was one of his gifts, as well as having probably the strongest arm in history of baseball from the outfield that I've ever seen, at least. So, but he drew a walk. And the fact is, his career on-base percentage is .422. Okay? He has an on-base percentage this year of over .460. And he's also batting .360. So his production is there. And if you don't get a hittable pitch, you draw a walk to put the other guys in a position to drive him in. It didn't happen that night, and that's okay. But you're going to fault the guy for drawing a walk and not swinging wildly to try to manufacture something when they were already a couple runs down. Like, I don't understand the logic in that at all. And again, it's funny too because like they're attacking Juan Soto. But a couple weeks ago, they're saying, Juan Soto's unhappy. He's going to sign with the Mets this offseason. This is your sales pitch to get him to come over there? Be like, yeah, I can't wait to go to Queens and play for the Mets to have guys like you cover me every day. That's your sales pitch, dude? Really? So glad that doesn't happen here. At least not with our beat writers. I'm criticizing for stupidity like that. So, and that's what makes it different in the Bronx too. But, let me know what your thoughts are on that too. I don't see the point of criticizing him for drawing a walk. And one of the reasons he's brought here is because of his on-base percentage. Okay, he's the highest in baseball, highest in his career. Like, he's an on-base percentage machine. And again, yes, it doesn't affect your batting average and slugging like a hit or a home run would. But if a walk affects your on-base percentage and it puts you in a position to be driven in by your teammates. So in that regard, it's just as important as a hit. It's not as fun as a hit. It's not as sexy as a hit, but it's just as important as a hit. And that's a metric of baseball that fans like myself, take into consideration all the time. Yeah, would it be nice to have him hitting bombs left and right? Yeah, and he'll do it when the time comes, when the pitches come, when the opportunity comes. But it was smart for him to draw the walk. So, but you give me a take on that one too. Are you worried about Judge? Are you angry with Juan Soto for giving Judge a chance to drive him in? And I know some people will figure out a way to blame Aaron Boone for this stuff. Like, you just like a lot of fans will figure out a way to blame Aaron Boone for doing exactly what the fans asked him to do, which was play Anthony Volpe at leadoff. They've been clamoring for this. He did it, didn't work, but some folks will still figure out a way to blame him. And come on to my live streams and say that I'm saying he's a great manager and so on. They'll try to put words in my mouth, and they'll try to go to the live streams and do the same tactic. Weak. Okay? Yeah. It's laughable. It's comical. But back to the point at hand, okay? What are your thoughts about Volpe and Gleyber Torres? Are you okay with the switch? I do think if they were going to switch, it should be for a couple of days because, not working one day is not a fail. That doesn't make it a failure. Okay? There's an adaptation that does need to take place. And is it the Major League Baseball? This isn't the Fred Mucci League in Staten Island where guys are throwing 60 miles an hour. You're having to adapt at the highest level, right? It's like the Navy SEALs of baseball. You're having to adapt at the highest level and nothing less at any point in time. So it does take some time, okay? It's a logical adaptation too, but a necessary one. But I'm fine with either one. Whether Volpe leads off or bats in the middle of the lineup, I'm fine with either one. Gleyber Torres was seeing more pitches than any of his teammates, so he was in his part making the pitchers work from the leadoff spot too. I'm confident that his bat will come. I'm confident that Aaron Judge's bat will come. Okay? Just like I'm confident that the Yankees will be even better once Garrett Cole is back here, once Jason Dominguez is here at some point, once Tommy Kahnle's here, once Scott Efros is here, once the reinforcements are back, and even DJ, who's already, I think, traveling with the team, is already taking batting practice. So how they implement them, I don't know. I do have a feeling that Oswaldo Cabrera will likely be the fall guy once DJ comes back as in terms of the utility role. But if he's got a hot bat, I mean, I don't see the point in sitting him for DJ who hasn't played in a month. Okay, so I hope he gets opportunities against Cleveland and against Toronto to kind of get his bat back in a groove again. But we'll see what happens. But you give me your thoughts either way. On the lineup switch, Judge, Soto, let's talk about it. Have a good day. If anything else comes out, you're going to get here, Yankee fans. Peace.